Today, I want to share a message that is difficult but necessary, especially at this time of year. Every December, we see the same pattern repeat: celebrations, gatherings, and far too often, the tragedies caused when alcohol and driving meet. In the latest N332 signpost, we look at drink driving from three perspectives you rarely hear together: the driver who must live with the guilt, the police officers who face the scenes and deliver the news, and the families whose lives are changed forever. Drivers often believe they are fine. They feel confident enough to drive, unaware that alcohol affects judgment long before they realize it. And by the time something goes wrong, it is too late. Police officers know this reality all too well. They see the chaos, the silence after the impact, and the grief behind the doors they must knock on. These moments stay with them for years, but the greatest weight falls on the families. The empty chair, the final unanswered message, the birthdays that will never come, all because someone believed one drink would not matter. These are their stories. The driver. The festive season brings light, warmth, and the joy of celebration. Families reunite, friends gather, and laughter fills the air. Yet every year, beneath the sparkle of the season, lives are shattered in an instant by one of the most preventable tragedies on our roads. For the driver who chooses to drink and drive, the consequences go far beyond a police checkpoint or a fine. They can last a lifetime. It's easy to tell ourselves we're fine. It was only a couple. I feel okay. It's just a short drive home. But alcohol doesn't announce its arrival. It slows reaction times, clouds judgment, and dulls awareness long before you notice the change. By the time a mistake happens, a pedestrian steps out, a cyclist crosses, a car brakes suddenly, your ability to respond has already gone. The result can be devastating. The human body is fragile. Bones break, lives end, families are torn apart. In that moment, one decision, one lapse in judgment, becomes the line between an evening of celebration and a lifetime of remorse. The aftermath of a drink-driving crash is not measured only in injuries or funerals. It is measured in guilt. The endless nights replaying the event, the faces you can't forget, the knowledge that it was your choice. Survivors often describe it as a punishment that never ends. No sentence, no insurance policy, no apology can undo the moment when a life is taken. The regret becomes permanent, and it is not only the victim's family who suffers. The driver's own family carries the burden too, living with the knowledge of what could have been avoided. During December, complacency creeps in. Celebration becomes routine. It's Christmas, people say. Go on, have one more. Peer pressure, misplaced confidence, and the false sense of control all play their part. The roads fill with drivers who never meant to do harm, but who didn't say the one word that could have saved a life. No. Saying no is not weakness. It's strength. It's the mark of someone who values the future more than the fleeting thrill of the present. You can't measure safety in units or glasses. The only truly safe limit is 0. If you are driving, don't drink. If you've been drinking, don't drive. It's that simple. And that absolute. Call a taxi. Use public transport. Walk. Stay the night. There is always another way. What there isn't is another life. This Christmas, as glasses clink and laughter fills the air, remember that every driver has a choice. And every choice has a consequence. Don't be the reason someone else's chair is empty at the table next year. One night of pleasure can last a few hours. A lifetime of regret can last forever. The police officer. For most people, Christmas is a season of lights, music, and celebration. But for many police officers, flashing lights and sounds don't bring joy. They signal the season of dread, a time when too many evenings end not with laughter, but with blue lights, broken glass, and lives changed forever. Officers know what drink driving looks like long before they reach the scene. They recognize the smell of burnt rubber, the sharp silence that follows a violent impact, and the way crowds gather with expressions that silently say, "It's bad." They feel that sinking weight in the stomach as they step out of the patrol car, preparing themselves for what they are about to find. The first moments at a collision scene are the hardest. An officer must assess the injured, call for assistance, secure the road, comfort those who are frightened or in pain, and make split-second decisions under unimaginable pressure. But behind the training and the procedure lies something else: the emotional toll of seeing what alcohol can do when mixed with a steering wheel. They see the driver stumbling, insisting they are fine, unaware or unwilling to accept what has happened. They see passengers dazed, bleeding, or worse. And sometimes they see a family car that will never go home again. Few things in policing are as devastating as knocking on a door in the early hours of the morning. Behind that door is a mother, a father, a partner, or a child, and their world is about to collapse. Officers rehearse the words in their heads, trying to make them gentle, trying to make them human, but there is no gentle way to say that someone they love is gone. The memory of those reactions, the scream, the collapse, the disbelief, stays with officers long after the service log is closed. These moments are not forgotten. They are carried. Drink driving collisions do not end at the roadside. The driver is not the only one who must face the consequences. Officers return home after their shift, trying to leave the images behind, trying to sleep. But some scenes do not fade. Some stay buried just beneath the surface. Many officers will privately admit that Christmas loses some of its shine. The risk, the recklessness, the needless pain, all preventable, all caused by a decision made in seconds. Police officers do not bleed often, but when it comes to drink driving, they do. They have seen the aftermath too many times to remain silent. They know exactly how quickly joy turns to tragedy, how fast lives can be taken, how deeply the regret will cut the driver who chose to drink. This festive season, remember that the police are not out to spoil anyone's celebrations. They are out to protect you, from others and from yourself. If you are driving, do not drink. If you have been drinking, do not drive. No journey is worth the heartbreak an officer may one day have to deliver. The family. When a drink-driving collision happens, the headlines often focus on the crash itself, the driver, the vehicle, the road conditions. But behind every statistic is a family whose life is divided into two parts, before the knock on the door and after it. For families, the tragedy does not unfold in a moment. It unfolds slowly, painfully, and permanently. No parent, partner, or sibling ever forgets that knock on the door. It may come in the middle of the night, or just as dinner is being prepared, but life stops instantly. An officer stands on the doorstep with a look that tells the whole story before a single word is spoken. Within seconds, the future they imagined, birthdays, graduations, holidays, meals together, disappears. The world becomes smaller, quieter, and unbearably heavy. The hardest part to accept is that their loved one did nothing wrong. They were in the wrong place at someone else's moment of recklessness. A choice they never made took everything from them. Families talk about the silence afterwards, the chair at the table that no one touches, the unopened coat still hanging by the door, the messages still saved on a phone because deleting them feels like losing the person all over again. Holidays become reminders instead of celebrations. There is no normal to return to. There is only learning to live with the gap that should never have been created. Families are left with questions that cannot be answered. Why didn't someone stop them? Why didn't they call a taxi? Why did one drink matter so much? They replay the last moments with their loved one, the final hug, the last goodbye, clinging to memories because it is all they have left. And while the courts may one day decide what punishment is due, no sentence ever feels equal to the loss. Time may move forward, but the wound does not close. If you ask families who have lost someone to a drink-driving crash what they want others to know, they don't talk about laws or fines. They talk about choices. One decision made by a stranger, a driver who believed they were fine after drinking, ended their world. That is the truth they must live with every day that follows. They want you to understand that the pain does not fade. The birthdays missed, the memories stolen, the future erased. All of it could have been prevented if the driver had simply chosen not to drive. This festive season, as glasses are raised and celebrations begin, remember the families who will be spending Christmas grieving instead of celebrating. Remember the empty chair, Remember the knock on the door. Remember that I'm okay to drive has destroyed more families than anyone will ever truly know. And above all, remember that the only safe limit is 0. Say no. Choose safety. Protect someone else's family as if it were your own. The truth is simple. If you drive, do not drink. If you have been drinking, do not drive. The only safe limit is 0. One night of pleasure can last a few hours. A lifetime of regret lasts forever.